People tend to think that protein coming from a pea source isn't as powerful as protein coming from, say, a whey protein source. Well, quite frankly, when you start diving into the research, you realize that protein that's coming from a pea source can actually be utilized just as well, sometimes even better, than protein from a whey source. So the interesting thing is that pea protein, quite honestly, could be a sustainable way for us to get good quality protein without the potential inflammatory risk of having a bunch of dairy. Now, those of us that have looked at vegan lifestyles and vegetarian lifestyles know that at the end of the day, all of the amino acids that we consume are essentially put into a pool within the body, and the body pulls from whatever it needs out of that pool of amino acids to construct whatever proteins it needs. So, for example, vegetarians and vegans might get their protein sources from different foods, different amino acids from different foods that ultimately aggregate into one pool of just a plethora of amino acids that the body can pull from. Now, it's always best to get as close to a complete protein as you can in one sitting, because then, of course, yes, you're getting all the amino acids at one point. The cool thing is, with pea protein, you have all 9 of the essential amino acids in quite an abundance, with the exception of methionine, but we'll cover that in just a minute. So essentially, you're getting the amino acids that you need to stimulate muscle protein synthesis and to recover and to feel good and to have longevity and to, honestly, just prevent injury, but without the inflammatory risk of having dairy. You see, that's the issue with whey protein. Whether you are vegan or not, whey protein has inflammatory components to it, simply because it's dairy, which triggers a response within the body. Too much of that is never going to be a good thing. Now, additionally, pea protein uses a lot less in the way of resources, so it's much more sustainable. And then when you're looking at the actual processing of pea protein is mechanically separated, and then the protein is isolated from that. Whereas with whey and with other proteins like soy even, you're gonna find a situation where it's chemically separated. So then you're having solvents and chemicals added to the mix, which we don't really want in this case. So a mechanically separated situation is a lot better. Plus you're getting a nice plethora of amino acids and it's less inflammatory. The reason I'm talking so much about pea protein is because I want to highlight Sunwarrior's Warrior Blend. You see, what Sunwarrior's been able to do is they've been able to elevate pea protein. They saw pea protein and they saw how amazing it was, but they also saw a few of the tiny gaps that could be filled when it came down to pea protein. So what they did is they added a couple things. They added hemp protein. You see, hemp is another complete protein, but it's also strong in methionine where pea is lacking. So when you combine pea and hemp, you have a nice solid protein that's giving you the amino acids that you need, and they're complementing each other, making up where the other one might lack. The other thing is that hemp is very high in alpha-linoleic acid, which is a plant-based omega-3. Now, those of you that are on a plant-based diet know that it might be difficult to get your omega-3s in. And even when you do get it from a plant source, you need quite a bit of them to be able to have the proper conversion. Now, with hemp, you have such a strong amount of ALA, you notice a pretty solid difference. Now, there was a study that was published in the journal Lipids. Now, this is interesting. This study took a look, believe it or not, at chickens that were fed hemp, and they found that the eggs that those chickens would lay were higher in omega-3, had a better omega-3 to omega-6 ratio. Now, I'm not saying this so that you go and eat the chicken or the eggs. I'm saying this simply because it's the clearest way to see that the input of good, healthy ALA from hemp still passed all the way through and actually registered as a change in the omega-3, omega-6 profile, which is exactly what we're looking for in a vegan or vegetarian or just any plant-based formula. Now, the other thing that I like to highlight about hemp is it's high in what's called gamma-linoleic acid, which is a polyunsaturated fatty acid that's been shown to modulate inflammation. So we're looking at just something that's very good for the gut, something that's very good for the overall immune system, something that's not going to wreak havoc. A lot of times when you have high amounts of, say, rice protein or high amounts of soy protein, you can have an inflammatory response within the body. So we want it nice and rounded with good pea protein that's balanced off with the hemp protein. Then additionally, Warrior Blend takes it to the next level by adding coconut. So we're getting MCTs and we're getting lauric acid. So we're getting the actual antimicrobial, antibacterial effect of lauric acid from the coconut oil, which is the long chain fat that's going to help your gut. And then you have the MCTs from that, which are going to give you the short burst of energy that you need and potentially the ketone production that you need if you're following a low carb lifestyle. So big win there for adding that into the mix. And then what's interesting is there's goji berry. Now at first you think goji berry, that's going to have a bunch of carbs. The cool thing is goji berries are so nutrient dense and so protein dense and so high in antioxidants in such a small amount like carotenoids and all that, that you only need a tiny bit. So Sunwarrior's gone the extra mile by adding goji berry to their mix so that the Warrior blend has the full spectrum of not only flavor and protein, but also the carotenoids and the reactive oxygen species fighting components that you need to live a healthy, low oxidative damage life. Okay, then lastly, when it comes down to how it's sweetened, no sucralose or artificial sweeteners here. We're talking about stevia, which has its own world of benefits, and sea salt. Simply sweetened, simply salted, just to round out the flavor just enough so you can get your nutrients in while still having it taste good. So you're gonna wanna check out Sunwarrior's Warrior Blend today. Whether you're keto or not, vegan or not, vegetarian or not, it's probably gonna be one of the best ways that you can go. See you soon.
Get a complete amino acid profile with clean, plant-based Warrior Blend protein powder from Sunwarrior. Available at sunwarrior.com or a store near you.